Oh boy, big old paragraph. Big old paragraph. Am I the asshole for refusing to visit my sister and her newborn? We could have separated this about halfway down, you know? Right around here or so, just another paragraph. I am the youngest of three in my family. My parents got married when they were both 20 and had my sister and brother pretty quickly after. They've always planned on just two kids, but they accidentally became pregnant with me when they were 38, making my sister and brother 16 and 15 years older than me, respectively. My parents and family have constantly reminded me throughout my childhood up until now that I was a mistake in sly ways. Or the mistake. You were the one mistake. Oh, that's always good. That's good for the mental of a child. My mom, on few occasions, has told me she wished she never had me because I ruined her body. Holy shit. What an asshole. Growing up, I was often compared to my sister and always reminded of how I paled in comparison to her. Relatives would often berate me about my appearance, especially acne, which I have no control over. My aunt once told me it's a shame that I was born dark. And how my parents were blessed to have one daughter with lighter skin. Oh my God. What is with these families? Jesus Christ. Y'all are not getting, like, y'all are getting put in a home. These are the kinds of parents that get put in a home and they go, why doesn't anyone visit me? Gee, I wonder. My own mother would say how much of a disappointment I am for not being as educationally gifted as my sister, even though we both got A's in high school and college. She's even told me that my degree wasn't as useful as my sister's, even though our careers are in the same field. My father would avoid looking or speaking with me, but would constantly communicate with my other two siblings. He would only speak with me if he had an issue with what I was doing. Because of this, over the years, I have developed dislike towards her. I hate being near her and I loathe seeing her. I would often evade her if she entered a room. Also, because of our age difference, we have never really talked properly or interacted a whole bunch. I've never heard her say anything bad about me, but I just can't help it. I dislike her. Yeah, that's what happens. This is why I talk about this sometimes when I talk about, like, when marriages end, and how I think it's important for whichever parent is taking care of the kid 90% of the time, whether it's the dad or the mom. It's important to not act like the other parent is the devil, because that does something mentally to a kid. You know what I mean? If you hear like your mom ain't shit or your dad ain't shit, there's a part of your brain that goes, but I came from my mom or dad, the person that you say is an absolute piece of trash, that's like a curse. And it's like it does a mental thing to people's brains. I'm not saying you have to sit there and be like, "Oh, they're a great person," but all I am saying is that, if the other parent is a piece of shit, let the kid come to that conclusion on their own rather than you forcing it down their throat, because they might not always feel that way. And it creates, I've seen it happen to people before, where like friends of mine have just had really bad self-esteem issues because, they were told their dad was a piece of shit, and, at the same time they get told you look a lot like your dad. You know what I mean? That does something mental to them when they're a kid. Mentally, it kind of messes them up. When I left for college, I really started enjoying life again and became more social. In general, I felt happier and freer and felt like I didn't have to act so grumpy and depressed all the time like when I was at home. However, after I've graduated, I have come back home for the summer and have regressed back into that mentality. It also didn't help that my sister was pregnant with her first child after suffering from infertility issues, and everyone around me constantly talked about how she looks radiant and beautiful. Earlier last week, she gave birth to a baby girl, and everyone has been visiting her at the hospital. I was able to weasel my way out of going when she was in labor, but now everyone is pushing me to go, calling me rude and selfish if I don't. I just don't want to go because I don't know what I'll say if I hear one more person make a comparison or compliment her. I would say it's not it's not your sister's fault, because it doesn't seem like your sister said anything bad about you. It's not your sister's fault that your parents are absolute pieces of shit. However, I get it. I don't think you're the asshole for kind of really wanting to distance yourself from anyone in that family, but try not to take it out on your sister so much, because it's just not her fault that your parents are doo doo ass, for lack of a better word. I believe that's the scientific term for the mental issue with your parents. They are doo doo ass. So, but I'm sure people are gonna say you're not the asshole for wanting to go, but why are you taking this out Why are you taking this out on your sister? Your post complains about how unkindly your mother and father treated you, but there's nothing about how your sister treats you at all. Frankly, it doesn't sound like sister is your problem. She has never treated me one way or another. She's always been neutral. We don't talk or interact much to begin with. I know she is not the problem, but the reason I don't want to go is because of the relatives who are at her home. I know we'll have to listen to them mock me or compare me to her. I hope this provides some context. Talk with your sister and tell you you'll visit when things come down. Maybe she'll understand. That's what I mean. That's good advice. I would genuinely think that just saying like, "Hey, communicate with your sister and just say, hey, mom and dad have been real assholes to me. I would love to, visit and see your baby and see how you guys are doing, but I just want to let you know that mom and dad make me feel like absolute scum." And I'm sure your sister will understand. Just saying. I'm not saying that, your sister might have secretly been an asshole and been judgmental of you, but there's a good chance she'll understand. If I knew that was happening, you know what I mean? Like I had already moved out or something, and you contacted me and were like, "Hey, I wanted to visit, but mom and dad treated me like shit all the time. You didn't really know because you know, you were already old by the time I was growing up or whatever." But you get it. Let's see. Issue with parents takes it on the sister. You're the asshole. I'm sorry for what your parents were crappy to you, but I'm glad you're happy to go to college. Blah 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 blah. But it's time to grow up now. Your problems with your parents, it's not your sister. Okay, yeah. You're the asshole. Your sister never did a thing to you. I can understand you being angry with your parents. They treated you like crap, but your sister never did anything. That's exactly the problem. Her sister didn't do a thing. She laughed and watched her younger sister being bullied by fully grown adults. I'm not assuming that. Laughing along and telling a 15-year-old to get over it as an almost 30-year-old, she is not in any universe innocent. When did I see that? Did I miss that? Became pregnant when they were 38, they were 16 and 15 years older. So I mean, honestly, they barely knew you. I mean, at least as far as I know. Did I miss the part where she says she participated laughing and blah blah blah? Seeing OP's comment, no, her sister never defended her. Oh, okay, so there's a comment about this. Her sister never defended her and even laughed along, dismissing OP's feeling when she expressed feeling hurt by the fact that she laughs along to the mean remarks. The sister is not an innocent person in this. Not defending OP and even laughing along makes her just as bad as the rest. I mean, yeah. If that's the case, according to those comments, I mean, yeah, you're like definitively not the asshole, and fuck your sister. I mean, genuinely, like your sister sucks too. So, I mean, it's definitive. Parents, try not to pick favorites, and for the love of God, stop saying things like you were the mistake and you ruined my body. What is wrong with y'all? Jesus Christ, you're raising little potential serial killer murderers.